How can I generate random numbers here in Excel? It's pretty much easy to do, and I can do it in many different ways. So for example, I can use the rand function to do it, or also I can use the randombetween function, and also I can use other formulas or other functions to append within my rand function or my randombetween function. Here I have a practical example where I have my employee list. This is my data set. I have here the employee's name, the ID, and the password. These two last columns here are blank because I need to fill it in with a random number or with random letters. Let's go to from A to Z, for example. We can use to generate random numbers here in Excel numbers or numbers and fixed symbols, for example, or we can use letters and symbols, or the mix of all together number, letters, and symbols. So let's start here using, let's say, numbers itself. I can equal sign and use the function rand. I can double click it, 1, 2, and then I can press enter. The rand function in Excel, whenever you just update your dataset, whenever you update your spreadsheet, you can double click it in whatever cell that you want and then press enter. Or also, you can use the F9 key, and whenever you just press to update your spreadsheet or you just edit any cells and press enter, the function is going to auto-update for you. So here you have the rand function that is going to return for you as result a number, a decimal number that is go from 0 up to 1, okay? So this number here is in between 0 to 1. However, let's say you don't want to use a decimal number here in Excel. So we can delete it, and instead you can use equal sign randombetween function. You can use this function here. Double click it because here you can define what is the bottom and what is the top value. So let's start here. I want to create an ID for my employees that goes to, let's say, 100 up to 999, for example. Close parentheses, enter. So whenever I just update my spreadsheet, I'm gonna got here a new result for my ID. And let's say I don't want to get a new result every time I just update my spreadsheet. So I can do the following steps here. I can just double click here in this down right corner in the cell, double click it, 1, 2, to make sure all the rows contain the same function. And now I can just select the whole column B, Control C, and instead of just using Control V to paste, I'm gonna right click in the column B, and then I go here to just paste values. So we read it off the function and stick just with values itself. And I can double click here in the cell to check it out, and I can see that it's not a function anymore. So it's just a value. So it's a way to create random numbers in Excel, to generate random numbers. But now let's say I don't want to use just numbers. I want to add, let's say, letters or symbols within my numbers, in between my numbers, in the beginning, in the last value I want a letter or a symbol. How can I do it? So let me just press Ctrl Z here, Ctrl Z again, and we stick back here with my previous function that is randombetween. I can delete it and equal sign randombetween. I can double click it. Let's say now I want to create here numbers between 10 and 99, for example. Close parentheses, enter. Okay, it's easy to do now. I can just open again this function, and I'm gonna append to this function, let's say the ID name, the ID text, for example. So I can use here the ampersand, open quotations mark, ID, close quotations mark. So whenever I just press enter here, I'm gonna got the value as my result, the result that we just got in the function from 10 up to 99, okay? And of course, you're gonna have here this append, that is my ID. So whenever I just update here my spreadsheet using the F9 key, I'm gonna get a new result just following the rules that I just created before, just follow my criteria, my condition. Let's say now I want to just change the position of the ID. I don't want it to appear last. Right? So let me read it off this. And now here, just after the equal sign, I want to, in between quotations marks, just type in ID. And then I'm going to use a slash to close quotations marks, %, and enter. Look, I can do it different. So let me just open again. Instead of using the ID, I can, instead of using numbers, of course. So let me delete it, equal sign, randombetween, double click it. Let's say here I want a number in between 10 up to 99, for example. Close parentheses, %, open quotations mark, slash, close quotations mark, %, again, And now we're going to append another rand function here. Double click it, that goes to 10 up to 99 again. Enter. Enter again, and yeah. Now whenever I just update here my spreadsheet, I'm gonna get a new type of number, a new type of ID. And I can do it in many different ways. I can just append texts in the beginning or in the end of my randombetween function, or I can append functions to functions that we just see here. So double click it, we can see I can append a function to another function, for example. Let me double click it here, 1, 2, and OK. Control C, right click, paste values. Okay, now all my employees got a new ID. So let's stick here with my password. For the password, I can use, let's say, symbols, I can use numbers, letters. How can I use just random letters for my password? There is a function in Excel called char function. So whenever you use this function, double click it, the number that we're gonna insert within this function, so let's say 65, close parentheses, and then press enter, it's gonna return for you the letter that's corresponding to this number that you just typed in before. Instead of using 65, I can use, let's say, 90. I know that 90 is equal to Z, and so on. So to make, let's say, a randombetween from A to Z, I can start in the 65 and I can finish at the 90. But how can I use it? I can use the randombetween within the char function. So let me delete it, equal sign. Let me start here with my char function, double click it, and instead of manually typing a number, I can use my rand function within my char function. So double click here, and the bottom number is gonna be 65, for example, because I know that 65 is equal to A, comma, and then the top number I'm gonna use 90 because I know it's equal to Z. Close parentheses, and then close parentheses again. Enter. So whenever I just update here, pressing F9 key, I got a new result that is a letter in between A to Z. Let's go from A to Z, okay? And I can do it more times. So for example, I can just open again, just copy this, Control C, and here I can append the same function again. So %, Control V, %, Control V, %, Control V, and so on. Enter. Now I got here a password, for example, with 4 digits. F9, F9, F9 key. So this way I can just update my password. And of course I can also use numbers here. So let's say here I want to append a symbol, for example. So open quotation mark, slash, close quotation mark, %, and then I'm gonna use the rand between, double click it, a number that is go from 1,000, comma, up to 9,900, close parentheses, and then press enter. Look, this is my password, not my password exactly, but the password of my employees. Now I can just double click here in this down right corner in the cell, double click it, Control C, right click, paste values, and I'm done. So that way I can create in an automatic way different types of IDs, different types of passwords for my employees, or also of course I can create IDs, SKUs for my products, for my items. So I hope you guys this video can help you out, and if you have any questions or any suggestions to the next video, just comment down below in the comments, okay? And I see you tomorrow as every day has a new video. I see you there.